So here we are again in InDesign, and we are now going to start to put some images inside of our booklet. I just rearranged the interface so that I could see both the Pages palette on the right hand side and the Properties palette because I do need them both on at the same time. So first things first, I just want to show you a couple of things. If you would like to design individual pages, like for example, you have this, let's have this cover. If you want to put like a tiny little thumbnail inside of here, you can put the artwork in. Let's call this title T for the type tool, title. We're going to center this, and I want the artwork to sit inside of a small window right here. So I'm going to use this rectangular tool, which is called the rectangular frame tool. It has a little cross inside of it, and what that does is it becomes a kind of a placeholder for the artwork itself. You can resize it, realign it, that kind of a thing. You can also add a stroke to it. If you want to add a little bit of a white border or a black border, just click stroke. See how much of a line you want around it, and that's what that's going to look like. And the nice thing about using the frame tool is that you could actually start to design your pages. Like, so for example, if you would like to have a bunch of little spots up on top, you can go on top and then create a pleasing layout for yourself, making sure that everything lines up nicely. That kind of a thing. And then this could be a full page. So all of these things are going to be part of our layout. So I just realized the page number is in the wrong spot. So let me just make this one smaller. I don't want the page number to be on top of the artwork. Okay, we're good. So now to place the artwork inside of this, inside of these frames, we're going to do it through Bridge because that's the easiest way of doing that. And in the previous lesson, we had Bridge create a catalog of images. So these are the images from our last session. Sorry about that. And let me make it a little bit larger so you can see it better. Here we have the thumbnails, and if you recall correctly, we separated everything into individual folders. So we have an animation folder, we have black and white drawings, and I also have a thing called My Favorites, which will hold a couple of different images. So we are going to literally drag in an image into each one of these boxes. So we're looking for a horizontal image. I'm going to put that right inside here from Bridge, drop it right into InDesign. It's a little bit on the small side, but go back to Photoshop, in Bridge, and I'm going to move this one here. And they will scale differently depending on the resolution of the file. Wow, that's a big one. That's another big one. Let me see what we have here. This one we'll put this piece in here. Okay. Let's go back to InDesign. So each of these elements now are sitting inside of a frame. If you would like to modify it, modify the actual frame itself, you can grab it and move it to a different spot if you like. You know, like maybe make it a little bit thinner, that kind of a thing. But all of the artwork that gets placed into InDesign can be viewed inside the placeholder, but the placeholder itself can be seen in two different ways. The first part of it is you can look at the artwork as a placeholder, and when you select it, it has a blue box. But there's more to this image. Excuse me, there's more to this image than can be shown in the frame. So to see the entire image, you have to double click it. And it goes from being a blue box to a brown box. And the brown box actually shows you the entire image scaled up. So to make it smaller, you want to make sure that you grab the corner handle and hold down the Shift key. Holding down the Shift key prevents you from distorting it. So you can now modify that, and that's okay. Click the next one. This is a blue box, so then double click that to call up the brown box, and then you can actually click the outer corner and scale that down to make sure that it fits. We're just going to look for the face. Where is that face? There it is. This one, double click that. And the reason why these are large is because this was a high-res image that just got placed. This one is a low-res image, so I'm going to double click that. Make sure you have the brown box, and you can scale that up, holding down the Shift key. And the nice thing about the placeholder box, the blue box, is that it forces the design to be maintained, and then the artwork will sit inside that individual shape. Double click that for the brown box, scale it up to fill up the space. Click that to fill out that space. Now, just like before, each one of these boxes, selection tool, each one of these elements can have its own separate property. And if you have to look at the property bar right now, none of these things will have a stroke. So I'm going to actually give it a one point stroke. You can even shift click a bunch of these things and say that they're all going to have a 1 point stroke. If you want the stroke to be a different color, you click this to change the color. I don't know why you'd want to do it, but that's how you do it. You might not be able to see it very well. So if you would like to see the entire page without all of these extra elements, like the markers and all that, the way to view it, I think it's, I know the shortcut key is W. I don't see the shortcut key here, but the shortcut key is the letter W. And you can now see what it looks like without the extra page elements like the margins and all that. And that's what the page will actually look like. Okay? Now, here's another way for you to put the artwork inside. You go back into Bridge. If you want to manually just drag that in without having to worry about designing frames and placeholders, you could just literally just drag it from here. Let's just drag a few of these images, okay? 1, 2, 3. We're going to drag these 3 images into our book. So you're going to click from Bridge, the 3 images, drag it right in, and you'll notice that the cursor turns into a little insertion point with a multiple box. And then when you click in here, you'll see the number 3 in parentheses in our very first image. So what you do here is you click and drag the shape where you want the artwork to be. So if you want that first illustration of the monkeys to be really small, you're going to go here. If you want them to be larger, you can just click to make it larger. Then the minute you release it, the monkey automatically fills the space that you have designated. And then it moves on to the next one, and it's in parentheses. It tells you that you are now on page 2. So you click in here, this is going to be page 2. You really can't control the placement. It's really based on the actual artwork itself. So let's just do this one, okay? That's that's our last one. So the layout is a little bit awkward, obviously. It's not sitting correctly. So now you're going to use the selection tool, click the artwork. Hopefully it'll work. Come on, okay. Okay. Click the artwork so you see the blue box, and then change the placeholder to become a little bit narrower. Double click inside to call it the brown box, and then scale it so we can see more of the illustration. Now let's look at this one. Double click the brown box. Double click it to make it larger. Hold down the Shift key. Click outside, and then click back inside for the blue box, and then make it a little bit wider. So that's how you could drag and drop from Bridge right into your page layout. And earlier I showed you how to create the frames individually so that you could drop it inside the design. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.